Hi, and welcome. My name is Lee Jackson. I'm a motivational speaker, works in schools and businesses, and I've written many books for teenagers to get them through their exams and stuff. So you're very, very welcome here with this Facebook Live, here with Collins Secondary. And I helped to write a book for Collins, the GCSE Study Skills Guide, which was fantastic. And I really enjoyed working on that project. And they've asked me to come back and do this Facebook Live. So hopefully we'll get a few people watching us and I can answer any questions. I could talk. I mean, I'm a speaker. I can talk. That's not a problem. But actually, I'd rather answer your questions. So who's here on board? Who's coming on board now? And who wants to ask a question? What I've done is I've studied exams. I've studied revision. And I kind of know what makes people tick. That's my job, to sort of understand that and to know that. And so I'm really fascinated in how do we get the best out of students in the run-up to exams. Here on the 1st of February. So January is gone, the long January is gone, and February is here. And so now it's when this is the way to the exams now. It's very much downhill before the exams start properly in May time. So I've got a couple of people. That's great, fantastic. And hello, Rebecca and Livia. It's nice for you to join us. And we'll have some more people, I'm sure. Please share this on social media and get the word out there. We'll be doing these, I think, every other Thursday as well as other events. So do make sure you like the page here at Collins Secondary and you keep an eye out on Twitter and on this page, because we hope to give you plenty of opportunities to engage and to listen and ask questions and all the good stuff. So I've got a terrible job title. I'm kind of embarrassed by my job title, but it's what I do. So, because sometimes you have to have a job title that people Google. So that's the world that we live in now. And you may have a strange job title. Mine is motivational speaker. I don't like it. I wish I didn't have it because it gives all sorts of strange messages across. Particularly when I go to parties or when I meet new people. They say to me, "Oh, hi, what's your name?" I say, "I'm Lee Jackson." "And what do you do?" "I'm a motivational speaker." And at this point, they often just either do one of two things. "Oh, hello, Irana, is that how you spell it? Irana, nice to meet you. And feel free to ask a question." So when I say I'm a motivational speaker, they do one of two things. They either run a mile, oh no, not one of those, or two, they take a step back, they look at me and they say, "Go on then, motivate me." Which I guess probably stand-up comedians must get, make me laugh, tell me a joke. And I have to make a joke and tell them some stuff that would maybe help them. And it's a strange thing. I don't think teachers get that. Any teachers watching, when they say, "Oh, I'm a teacher," then the teacher doesn't say, "Oh, well, come on then, you need to teach me something now." So what I'm going to do is answer your questions, but also I'm going to let you behind the curtain, if you like, of what a motivational speaker does, what we study, what we try and understand, and what we speak about. It's what I spoke about yesterday in a school, and it's what I'm doing all day tomorrow in a school too. So after this, I'll be getting my stuff ready for an early start in the morning, and I'll be in a urban high school in the north of England. I won't tell you where in case they're watching, but it's going to be good fun, and it's going to be a real challenge tomorrow as well to get that message across. Is how do they get, how do they actually keep themselves going? How do they keep motivated on the run up to the exams, which are probably the biggest things that have happened in their life, often the biggest exams by far, apart from a few mocks and some ones when they were younger and some SATs. These are really the big one. So what do we do? Well, a motivational speaker, really, it's about what makes people tick. And the first one is the why. So we've got to ask the question, why are we doing something? That's massively motivational for people. So if you know the reason why you're doing something, then it helps us to do it. So why am I doing this Facebook Live right now? Well, for various reasons. One is that Collins, my publisher, asked me to do it, which is nice of them. But two, I'm doing it because I want to reach out, because I want to reach a lot of people, because I want to help people. So that's kind of my why that I'm doing right now. Why am I doing something? And I think as teachers, you might need to think about that. As parents, you might often ask the question, why? That's a really good question to stop, to pause and to stop and to ask those kind of questions. Must excuse me just 1 second. I just left my heater on in my office. I just switched that off because it's very cold here in the north of England. So yeah, so the why question is really important, and students need to ask that. And I think if they don't answer that question, they probably will always struggle for understanding the day-to-day stuff. Because if they don't know why they're doing it, if they don't know why they're doing exams, if they don't know why they have to do some revision, it's difficult for them to move forward and see the bigger picture. And often that's when procrastination kicks in, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And it's often when people get demotivated and maybe a bit down about everything, because if they don't understand the reasons why. So when I was in a school yesterday, I was asking some of the students in year 11, I was saying, why are you doing exams? For what particular reason are you doing exams? And getting them to think, what does exams teach you? So what do they actually teach you as a human being? Well, they're about being tested, because we as human beings will be tested, of course. That's part of what we do. And also, you know, you will get exams further in your life. That's just part of it. And it tests your knowledge. So it's a way of doing lots of different things. But if we sit back and understand the why, that kind of changes things and gets people a bit motivated. So I've got a question from Susanna here that came in a bit early today. Susanna said, how do I motivate depressed students that are down to revise when they've done badly in their mock exams? Mocks, of course, have usually happened in December or the beginning of January, because they'll just say, I'm going to fail anyway. Great question, Susanna. Thank you for sending that in. So what do we do with those students? Well, I think the refocus with those students is to think about them, is to get them not to just tell them to work hard, but actually to get them to understand the why question. All right, so why did you do those mock exams? Well, to test where you're at right now. Sure, you didn't get the results that you wanted, but that is a good test of where you're at. So now we know where you are, we can start to think about the future. In the book that I wrote, in the GCSE Study Skills Guide that I wrote for Collins, there's a section in there and it's about getting real. So the section is get real. Unless they understand the reality of where they are, you can never, ever know what you want to do next. So give an example of weight loss. So if somebody is putting on a lot of weight, at some point they're going to have to weigh themselves to get real with where they're at in order to think about having a more healthy diet and exercising and changing maybe and losing a little bit of weight. But until there's that point, and you see this in documentary after documentary, where someone weighs themselves and they get real in that situation, it's very difficult. So Susanna, you're right. It is a situation where they are getting real, where they're definitely getting real in that situation, and they're trying to understand, this is where I'm at right now. Because if they know where they're at, then they know where they need to be, and they can work on those by little steps, And understanding that why really helps them in that context. And the other thing that we do as speakers, as motivational speakers, and many of the books that you've probably seen and read, and lots of talks that you've heard, is we talk about the how. So once they understand the why, then really it's down to the how. How do I do something? So if I know why I'm doing something, how do I do something? So this Facebook Live, I've done a few of them before, but when I first did them, I understood the why, because I want to reach out to people, I want to help people, like I've mentioned. But then, of course, it becomes practical and the how. So I'm thinking, well, how do I do this? And Collins sent me, you know, the login so I can get into the system. I've got my my microphone here. Look, I've got a big mic. Oh, where has it gone? I've got a microphone here, quality microphone. So that's how. I've got my camera here on my laptop. So I use that one. And I've actually also got this thing up high, so it's a little bit better for filming. And these are all the hows. Now, for examinations and for revision coming up, the how is really finding out what the best technique is for the students. So they might not have done very well in their mock exams, like Susanna mentioned, but actually maybe they are in a situation where they don't know how to do it. So when I'm in this school tomorrow, there'll be some students there who have not listened maybe, or not been present, or maybe been absent when the teachers have told them how to revise. So once you understand the why, you can go to the how. My daughter's passed, just one's at university, one's having a year out. So for the last 3 years, I've lived through their GCSEs and their A levels, and I asked them, I've got identical twins, and so I asked them, what worked for you? What was your how? How did you get the decent results that you got? And one of my daughters said that for her, it was past papers. So for how, the how for her was lots and lots of past papers, old exam questions that the teachers could give them so they could redo them, answer them, mark them, learn how to do it, in like how to phrase it, you know, in certain science exams and English exams, that you get marked for different phrases that you use, for the way you structure things, for showing the working in problems. It's those hows are very practical things, and that's where teachers can do that really well, showing them the how, not just saying, you know, like parents often do, you know, go and revise, because they might not know how to. So it's just breaking that down a little bit. For my other daughter, for her, it was little cards. So she had, you know, I've got some little cards that I use occasionally, and there was little cards that she had there. And she always had little cards that she wrote on. So for her, it was like doing the stuff, writing it on the cards, and also using a whiteboard. So she'd put the information on the whiteboard, she'd put the whiteboard away, she'd memorize that, go back to the whiteboard, rub it out, write it on again. These are all ways of getting your brain to remember this stuff. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more in further Facebook Lives. So they've got the why, they've got the how, maybe it's cards, maybe it's past papers, you know, find out what works best for them. Every student's different, I think. Some of them will love to do mind maps. Mind maps are fantastic for some people, but for some people, they'll just run a mile, and that's fine. That's just personality types. It's not a problem at all to have people that love mind maps and those that don't. So, you know, it's finding out what makes you tick. Like, for instance, I love to read and learn, but I'm not. But when I say I love to read, I'm not a big reader of full books. What I tend to do, what I've learned, the way my brain works, is I work well by watching documentaries, listening to podcasts, using little sections of books, articles and things like that. And I work better in chunks, what I call chunk. So I chunk things, and I do that. So rather than spending 3 months reading one book, I'd rather get lots of chunks of information and research that. That's just how my brain works, and that's what I've learned. So no more questions are coming at the moment, I don't think. So never mind, I will continue. And next time I'll tell you about what we'll talk about next time a bit more. And once you've done the why, and you've thought about why you're doing something, why are students revising, and why are they doing what they're doing, if you can encourage them with that, then the how, and then it's the keeping on going, the resilience and the persistent side of motivation, because motivation disappears. Raising aspirations are great, but these things disappear. They fade away because we need to learn how to keep on going. As human beings, there's things that can help us to keep on going. And in the next time we do this, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll talk about that in much more detail. I've got love to tell some stories about that. And I've started researching on what keeps people ticking away. But one of the main things that can happen that's really important for people to do, is that they need to build a team around them. So one of the things that keeps us going is other people. We often read stuff that looks like it's us against the world, or it's just us. Actually, that's not how it is. We're in a team, we're in families and communities for a reason. And one of the things I encourage students to do is to build a team around them. Build your dream team that will get you through the bits that you need to do. You know, get you through the next few months, and build a team around that. And I'll tell you a story about that next time, and I'll give you encouraging ways to build a team around you. So we're coming to the end. Just 15 minutes is up. You can ask me any questions if you're watching it. recorded, sorry, my brain's late for me. If you're watching it recorded, then you can post some questions underneath or at the side, whichever side it is, and you can we can answer those questions next time. But I just want to tell you that teachers and anyone who works in schools, if you know teachers, then you can win a day of my time. You can win me to come and do a revision and resilience presentation in your school, in your high school. And you can look at the link. I will put the link here. It's collins.co.uk/revision that sticks. I'll try and if I can paste that in. If I'm clever enough, I should be able to paste that in there, hopefully. And if you click that link, you'll be able to find out and enter a competition where you can win me for the day. Win me to come in and do a presentation. Wherever you happen to be, wherever you are in England, we will come and do that. And we're really looking forward to it. We have some dates put in the diary for before the exams. So if you want to do it and you want to get me to come in and motivate and help your students, I would love to do that. And there we go. We've got some, the comments are there. So it's been lovely to be with you. Let's get some more questions for next time, and we will continue this. I'll be back, I think, in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time on a Thursday evening, and just put your comments in the boxes, and we will answer those questions. It's been fantastic to be here. I wish you every success. See you next time. My name is Lee Jackson. My website is leejackson.biz. Leejackson.biz. The Collins website is over there. Cheers. Bye now.